Everything said in this video is still up to change, so all the information in the video is basically for right now. I can't guarantee anything that I say right now is gonna be the same in the future. Hey guys, and welcome back to another video of Day of Dragons. Right now we're gonna go right into the most commonly asked questions of Day of Dragons. So, you might ask, when will the game actually be released? It's gonna be released the 21st of November. Beta is still unknown, but they think it will be somewhere in October. But it's still unknown, so there's nothing to be sure of. So, when will the sounds actually be added? Well, the sounds for characters are going to be added around September, and environmental sounds are going to be probably released in October. Joe has stated that the audio will be implemented into the game before beta release. So that's about sound. So the next question is, how will I receive my copies once I've basically pledged for the game or like bought it? Basically, they will contact you through Kickstarter and they will give you a Steam key, which you can then activate in Steam. But wait, you might say, I've got several backer rewards. How will I add them to the game? So basically, you will get like per Kickstarter account, you will get one pledge. But you can combine all those different accounts, which will give you like a pledge, and basically you can provide them all to the same Steam ID. So basically what it means is that you've got 3 different pledges, but you can use them all on one game. So let's say you ordered for $100 or euros, depending on where you're from, and you got like a white dragon skin. Will I be able to use them on different accounts? No, you will not. You will only be able to use it and tie it to one account. So even if you've got like 3 game accounts, you can only use it on one. So let's talk about environments. There's going to be caves. You can explore them, but what they're going to look like, I don't know. How big they will be, I don't know either. But there's going to be caves and you can explore them as a dragon. So what about weather effects? So right now the game basically has day and night, as you've probably already seen. And they are talking about adding weather effects, but they're not sure exactly what kind of effects and what it will have as an effect on your gaming PC. Because of course, like the weather will probably take some computer power, and they're really trying to figure out like, is it efficient or not, and are they going to introduce it or not? So how much diversity is there going to be in the map of Day of Dragons? Well, it's going to be a massive area. It's going to be about 20 by 20 square kilometers or miles. One of these, I don't know for sure, but yeah, but it's going to be big. There's no ocean at the moment, but you are be able to swim in large bodies of waters, for example like lakes. Right now they are talking maybe about an aquatic expansion, but nothing certain yet, so right now just keep it as a rumor. Also as biomes, currently in the game you've got desert, lava, redwood forests and marshlands. They're also talking about maybe making like an Arctic biome, but as you can probably see in one of the views already, they already have like a snow biome effect. So that's one. And the ocean, like I said, is basically rumor so far. So let's talk about dragon species. So what dragons are you be able to play right now? Right now there's 1 wyvern and 2 western type of dragons. Will there be aquatic dragons? Well, let's say the aquatic expansion DLC is going to be a thing, then yes, there will be aquatic dragons. So right now most dragons are western. Will there also be eastern style dragons or more variety? So right now the dragons are limited to western style dragons. Will there also be other styles of dragons, like eastern for example? It really depends on what the concept designer is going to be coming up with. So they hired a concept sculpting texture artist, thanks to all the support of the Kickstarter, but it's really going to depend on whatever he creates on what's going to be added to the game. How many dragons do they plan on having? Quite a lot. So once they kind of release the game, they want to make like a new dragon every 4 to 8 weeks. So starting in 2020, you could have about 30 dragons. The dragons will cost quite a lot to implement, and you can calculate it to be around 200,000 US dollars, which is quite expensive, but yeah. So let's talk about gameplay. How long will it take to grow my dragon? It really is gonna depend on what species you are. So if you're a smaller species, it's gonna probably go a lot faster. If you're a bigger species that's stronger, it's gonna be taking a lot longer. About the Eldraine alpha stage is not sure yet, but yeah, it's probably gonna take some extra time because the stronger you get, like, the more time it should take to grow to that part. Will dragons grow forever? No, they will not. Like, once you've reached the alpha stage, you will be like the biggest form you can be. Alpha stage is, an alpha dragon is basically the final stage of the elder dragon growth system, and not every dragon species will be able to enter the elder or alpha growth system either. So it really depends on what species you are and till how far it can grow. Will there be a grouping system in the game? Yes, just like the owl, you will be able to add people into a group and you can interact with them. It doesn't matter if you're different species, but you cannot group with elementals, only with dragons, and vice versa. So when you're grouped, you will probably see the name tags of the people, you will have a group chat, and you will also not be able to damage your own group. So that's something different from the owl, is that you cannot damage your own teammates. So what can you expect So what can we expect an Elder Dragon to look like? Basically, there will be the most dominant, powerful, intimidating dragons that there are. And basically they will look different from babies, just like owls will look different from adults. Will dragons make sounds? Yes, they will. Just like the owl, which most people probably are from. They'll have roars, they'll have emotions, threaten, greet, smell. It's gonna be quite some sounds. Will you be able to track and smell other dragons? Joey, will you be able to track and smell other dragons? Joel has been thinking about it and about how he wants to implement it, but he's not sure yet. So it's in his mind, he just doesn't know when or how it's going to be. So we have to wait for that. So let's say you decide to dive straight into the ground, because why not? What will happen to your dragon? Basically, the game is gonna automatically scan the way you're going down, and before you can manage to land on the ground, it's gonna make a landing animation, and therefore you will not slam yourself into the ground dead. So basically you're safe from falling to your death. What about a broken wing mechanic that prevents you from flying for a limited time? So what if you want to hurt someone that bad that their wing has been hurt, or that you did something stupid that limits you from flying, just like getting a broken leg in the owl? He's thinking about adding it, but it's not going to be in there for a while. So for now, let's just keep it to a rumor. Will there be other creatures in the game? No, not really. Apart from dragons and elementals, there will be no humans, there will be no ogres or lizards or anything, only creatures that look, for example, like something that comes from the movie Avatar. Will players be able to play as prey animals? Chao has been thinking about it, but let's say if the player base wants it, he can add it. But if there's no real demand for it, then it's not going to be added to the game. So what's the current player cap at? Right now it's 100 so far, but they're going to be doing a stress test with 250 people and see how the game manages to keep on. So let's say the game is be able to manage 250 people, then the cap is going to be raised to 250. It really depends on what the game can handle. So what kind of specifications does your computer need? It's kind of difficult to answer that at the moment, because most of the alpha testers have quite a good computer. And most people that do not haven't been able to test it yet. So right now they recommend at least like a 960 or a 1060 with a medium CPU. That will probably give you quite some good FPS. Also with the RAM, it's probably recommended to be around 6 or 8 gigabytes of RAM, which most computers should have by now. And yeah, basically at least a 2 gigabyte video card and a dual core processor as a minimum. Let's say if you can run the Owl, then you will probably also be able to run Day of Dragons. So let's talk about aerial tricks. So at the moment you are able to... So let's talk about tricks. At the moment you are able to dive, glide and gradually ascend. But it won't be the final results. At the moment they're thinking about what they can add to aerial dynamics, but it's not clear yet what. So it's being think about, and they're probably gonna develop some system, but at the moment it's just gonna be whatever like is already in the game at the moment. The problem is that all the dragons have different growths and strengths and speeds, so therefore they want to add like a dynamic system that is based on the size of your dragon, on what you'll be able to do in the air. For example, the behemoth dragon cannot fly at all. So how will the spawn system work? Basically, the plan is that you select one of your species and that you can select your gender as well when you're spawning in. And the skin if you've got the Kickstarter rewards. If you're nested by players, you will be whatever species the players that are nesting you are. And you will get a random gender. Parents will be able to see the gender ahead of time, and the nursery dragon can also influence this. And you also get one of the parents' colors. So basically if both parents are white, you will probably be white. Let's say you've got a black and a white parent, then the chances are that you're either black or white, or you could be Oreo. So basically black and white at the same time. Okay, so let's talk about nesting. Basically how nesting will work is you get a female, she will make a nest and drop an egg. Then you will need a male to imprint the egg, to fertilize it, and then once the egg is activated, it will take a certain amount of time to incubate it, probably around 30 minutes, and once it's incubated, then you can invite players to be babies and spawn from your eggs. Will the skins be genetic? Well, offspring have a 50% chance to be get the skins from the parents. So basically if mama is red and daddy is blue, then you might be red or blue, but you won't be black. Will I be able to see the stats of my dragon? The only way to see your stats is to lay an egg, for example female, and imprint as a male. And this is to prevent people from spawning the dead/respawn. Only adults can lay eggs, and you only be able to find out your stats once you've grown up. Also a nursery dragon can actually see the stats. How dependent will babies be on their parents to survive? The answer is quite dependent. Babies can't beat for... come on. How dependent will dragons be on their parents, or at least baby dragons? The answer is they're quite dependent, because baby dragons cannot spew fire and they cannot bite either. So therefore they have to wait until they're about halfway in their growth that they can actually make fire and fly. So the parents have to do quite a lot of parenting to get the dragon to full growth. So now let's move on to the last but not least topic of combat. Is there going to be an elemental weakness? Strength, resistance? So yeah, the system is already in. Basically there's going to be blunt damage, piercing damage, fire, plasma, acid, electricity, etc. Each creature will have their own strengths and weaknesses, and it will balance out. So what elementals will be in the game? At the moment there is a plan to have the following elements in the game. There's going to be fire, earth, plasma, lightning, stone and ice. And there's also going to be a dark version of each one of the ones I just mentioned. At the start there will only be one, which is going to be the earth elemental. And to unlock the elemental gameplay, you basically have to start as a dragon, do a certain objective, before you're even allowed to play as elemental. And you only have one life, so basically after you got killed as an elemental, you have to start as a dragon again, get the objective again, and then you get the chance to be an elemental again. So therefore it takes quite some time to become one, and if you lose it then you have to do it all over again. Is there a way to pick what skills your dragon excels at? The answer is not really. So basically the speed and damage that your dragon will have will be based on your species. But let's say if one of your parents is quite a high stat dragon, then it's more likely that you will also get higher stats. The same goes for spawning. It's quite random, so therefore there's a chance you start with good stats, but there's also a chance you start with bad stats. Also, it's made that the nurse dragon is be able to actually boost one of your stats when they're nesting. So nursery dragons are quite handy in a lot of ways. So how does aiming work? Basically, like most games, you will get like a aiming dots, crosshair, and basically that's gonna enable you to look where you're firing. But it's also gonna be an area effect. So basically, if you spew fire, it's gonna be not exactly in that one dot, it's gonna be area focused. So yeah, that's that. Will dragons be able to hit or bite someone in the air? Yes, they will. So basically you can bite in the air, you can bite on the ground, and you can bite while you're swimming on top of the water. Same goes for fire, but that will not work in water, it will only work on land and in the air. So if you guys enjoyed this video, then please let me know in the comments. If you want to see more updates on Day of Dragons, then hit that subscribe button, because I will be keeping updating you guys on whatever is coming up. And I hope you guys enjoyed it and have a good day. Goodbye.